Friends, today we will see a topic, the greatest common divisor. Many of you have already learned or already listened something about the greatest common divisor in our school studies. Okay, we know GCD, LCM. Okay, here we will revise this topic and then we will go in the deep study of the greatest common divisor. Okay. So what is the greatest common divisor? The name itself suggests greatest common divisor. A divisor of two numbers, a common divisor of two integers or two numbers, which is greatest, is called greatest common divisor. Okay, first we will go through the example. Consider two numbers, one is 12 and other is 14. Okay. What are the divisors of 12? The divisors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 divides 12, 3 divides 12, 4 also divides 12, 6 and 12 itself. Okay. What are the divisors of 14? Divisors of 14 are 1, 2, then 7 and 14. These are the divisors of 12 and these are the divisors of 14. Now what are the common divisors? The common divisors means divisors which are divisors of 12 and also 14. Now see, 2 is common divisor of both 12 and 14. 2 divides 14, 2 divides 12. 1 is also common divisor. Okay. Now 3 is not common divisor because 3 divides 12 but 3 does not divide 14. 3 is not here. 4, 7, 6, 12, 14 or 83 are not the common divisors. Okay. This divides only 12 and this divides only 14. Now only common divisors are 1 and 2. 1 and 2 divides 12, 1 and 2 divides 14. Now greatest of 1 and 2 is 2. So 2 is the GCD of 2 is GCD. That is greatest common divisor of 12 and 14. Okay. This is the idea of greatest common divisor. Okay. So common divisor means a number or an integer which divides both the numbers. Okay. Here 1 and 2 are common divisors and 2 is the greatest common divisors. Okay. So we will write the definition of greatest common divisor. Okay. So GCD. Suppose let A and B be the non-zero integers. Okay, be the non-zero integers. Okay. Let A and B the non-zero integers. Okay. A number or non-zero divisor. Okay. So sorry, a non-zero integer B. A non-zero number or integer D is said to be greatest common divisor of A and B. Okay, D is said to be greatest common divisor of A and B if first condition D must be common divisor. Okay, that is D must divides A and D must divides B. This is the first condition. For integer to be greatest common divisor, it must be first common divisor. Okay, so it must divide both integers A and B. Okay, and second, if C is any other common divisor, then that C must be less equal to D. Here 1 is also common divisor, but 1 is less equal to 2. Or any other common divisor always divides the greatest common divisor. If C is other common divisor, say C divides A and C divides B, that is C is another common divisor, then C must be less equal to the D. See, D is the greatest. Or we can write definition, C always divides B. What? This is the definition of greatest common divisor. What is definition? let a and b with two non-zero integers. A non-zero integer d is said to be greatest common divisor of the a and b if d is the common divisor of a and b, that is d divides a and d divides b. And second condition, if there is any other common divisor, it must be less equal to the this d. If c is the common divisor, then c must be less equal to d. Or we can say if c is any other common divisor must divide this d, because since d is the greatest common divisor, every other common divisor must divide d. For example, we will take another example. Okay, we will find the common divisors of 16 and 24. We know divisor of 16. What are the divisor of 16? 1, 2, 4, 8 and 16. What are the divisor of 24? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, okay, 12 and 24. Now out of this, which are the common divisors? 1 is common divisor, 2 is common divisor, 4 is common divisor, 8 also common divisors. Okay. Now 1, 2, 4, 8 are the common divisors of 16 and 24, because 1, 2 and 4, 8 divides 16 also and 24 also. But greatest among these is 8. So 8 is the GCD. And GCD is divided by GCD of A and B. This bracket. These brackets means GCD of A and B is equal to say D here. So here GCD of 16 and 24 is equal to 8. Now see here, 8 is the greatest common divisor, because any other divisors, other common divisors are 1, 2 and 4 are always less than 8. And the other common divisors, 1 divides 8, 2 divides 8, 4 divides 8. So we are seeing, if any other common divisor is there, it must be less equal to D, or we can say it must be divides D. Okay. So GCD of 16 and 24 is 8. GCD divided by this open bracket, GCD of AB is equal to D. Okay. So using the concept of GCD, we will prove these two things. Okay. The first thing we have to prove that there is no integer x and y satisfying x plus y is equal to 100 and GCD of x and y is equal to 3. If I ask you to find the two integers whose GCD is 3 and sum is 100, you will never get it, because we have a proof for it. We cannot find the numbers in these two integers x and y whose GCD is 3 and sum is 100. We will prove this. We will prove this using the method of contradiction. Okay. Suppose there exist x and y integers, okay, such that x plus y is equal to 100 and their GCD is equal to 3. Now 3 is the greatest common divisor of x and y, GCD. So 3 is the common divisor of x and y, means 3 divides x and 3 divides y, because 3 is the greatest common divisor, so it is the common divisor. Now 3 divides x means x is multiple of 3, that is 3m, and y is a multiple of 3, that is 3m, where m and n are non-zero integers. Okay. So put the value of x and y in this equation. This implies x value 3m, the value of y is 3m, so 3m plus 3n is equal to 100. Take 3 common, this implies 3 times m plus n is equal to 100. Now m and n are integers. This is so m plus n is integers. So we get 3 into some non-zero integers is equal to 100. This is like a is equal to b into c. This implies b divides a. So here 3 divides 100. Is this true? Whether 3 divides 100? No. 3 never divides 100. This is the contradiction. So our assumption is wrong. We assume that we can find such integers, two integers whose GCD is 3 and sum is 100. So our assumption is wrong. Okay. Our assumption is wrong. So there is not exist such values x and y satisfying that their GCD is 3 and sum is 100. Okay. Next example, we have to prove that there exist infinitely many pairs of x integers x and y such that their sum is 100 and GCD is 10. Here we cannot find a single pair satisfying this condition, but here we can find infinitely many of pairs of integers x and y satisfying sum is 100 and GCD is 10. We will prove this. Okay, so here GCD of x and y is equal to 10. This implies 10 is the greatest common divisor of x and y. So this implies 10 divides x and 10 divides y. That is, x is multiple of 10 and y is also multiple of 10. So x is equal to 10m, y is equal to 10. Put this value in this equation. So x plus y is equal to 100. This implies 10m plus 10n is equal to 100. Take 10 common. This implies 10 times m plus n is equal to 100. This implies divide both sides by 10. We get m plus n is equal to 10. That is, m is equal to 10 minus n. So we get value of m is 10 minus n. So this implies x is equal to 10m. Value of m is 10 minus n and y is equal to 10n. So n is the integer. So there are infinitely many integers. So there are infinitely many values of x and y satisfying these conditions. For example, put n is equal to 1. Then x will be equal to 10 into 10 minus 1. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 into 10, 90. So x is equal to 90. Here also put n is equal to 1. So 10 times 1 is 10. So y is equal to 10. Now see, 90 plus 10, 100. And find the GCD of 90 and 10 is equal to 10. 10 is the greatest common divisor for 10 and 90. All the divisors of 10 and 90 common divisors are less than 10. 10 is the highest common divisor. So 10 is the greatest common divisor of 90 and 10. So we get the pairs such that this series is 10 and sum is 100. And there are infinitely many pairs satisfying this condition. And keep one thing in my mind, that greatest common divisor is also known as highest common factor. Okay, GCD is same as highest common factor, SCF. Okay, but LCM is different thing. Least common multiple is different thing. Greatest common divisor and highest common factor are same thing. Okay. Now we will see a next very important definition: the relatively prime integers. Okay. So the relatively prime integers are the non-zero integers whose GCD is 1. Okay. And let A and B be non-zero integers. Okay. If GCD of A and B, if GCD of A and B is equal to 1, then the integers A and B are said to be relatively prime. And there is another word for relatively prime numbers. The other word is co-prime. Two integers, non-zero integers are said to be co-prime or relatively prime if their GCD is 1. For example, GCD of 12 and 17 is 1, because there is no common divisors for 12 and 17 except 1. That GCD is 1. So 12 and 17 are relatively prime or co-prime. Okay. Then note down one important remark. Okay. If A and B are non-zero integers. Okay. A and B are non-zero integers. Okay. Such that and their GCD is equal to say D. Okay. Then there exists an integer x and y such that we can write GCD as a linear combination of A and B. So AX plus BY. We can write D as AX plus BY. Okay. For example, we know GCD of 16 and 24 is equal to 8. So there exists integer x and y such that the GCD 8 is equal to A is 16 into x plus D is 24. There must exist some x and y such that 16x plus 24y is equal to 8, and such x and y exist. We can write x is equal to minus 1, put x is equal to minus 1. Okay. So 16 into minus 1 and put y is equal to what? 24 into 1. So 16 into minus 1 minus 16. 24 into 1 is 24. 24 minus 16 is 18. So if GCD of A and B is D, then there is this integer x and y such that D can be written as AX plus BY. See here. GCD of 16 and 24 is 8. So A is 16, B is 24, D is 8. So 8 is equal to 16 into x plus 24 into y. Such x and y exist. Here x is equal to minus 1, y is equal to plus 1. Okay. Now one important theorem. Okay. Again, let A and B be non-zero integers. Okay. Non-zero integers. Then the integers A and B are relatively prime. If only there exist the integer x and y such that ax plus by is equal to 1. This is one theorem. Theorem based on this remark. What is the theorem says? The integer a and b are co-prime or little prime. If only we can find x and y such that ax plus by is equal to 1. Okay. The if and only statement, so we have to prove in both parts. Okay. Suppose first part. So let a and b are relatively prime. That is, GCD of a and b is equal to say 1. So by this GCD of a and b is equal to d, then by this remark we know there is this integer x and y. Integer, okay. So belongs to I, set of integers, such that 1 is equal to ax plus by. So one part is very simple. We already said there are two integers. For GCD is d, then d can be written as ax plus by. Such x and y exist. Here d is 1. So we can find x and y such that 1 is equal to ax plus by. Okay. Now first part. Okay. So now we will now assume ax plus by is equal to 1 and prove GCD is equal to 1. So let ax plus by is equal to 1 and suppose GCD of a and b is equal to say d. Now since GCD of a and b is d, this implies d divides a and d divides b. Okay. This implies d divides any multiple of a. So d divides ax, d divides b. So d divides any multiple of b. So d divides by. So this implies d divides there is some also. So d divides ax plus by. Okay. We know if 2 divides 3, then 2 divides any multiple of 3. Okay. Now see, suppose we have 2 divides 3. 2 divides 4 and 2 divides say 6. Then 2 divides any multiple of 4 and 2 also divides any multiple of 6. And 2 also divides their addition also. Okay. Now see, 4 into take multiple 1. So 4 into 1 is 4, 6 into 1 is 6. So 4 into 1 is 4, 6 into 1 is 6, 4 plus 6, 10, 2 divides 10. Like this. D divides A, D divides B. So D divides X, D divides by. So D divides Ax plus by also. This implies D divides 1 because value of Ax plus by is 1. But D is the greatest common divisor. So D must be non-zero. D is greater than 0 and D is dividing 1. So D must be less equal to 1. Now this implies D must be equal to 1. Since D must be D always positive and D dividing 1. So there is only one condition that D must be equal to 1. There is no other chance. Okay? This is one important theorem. Okay. Next theorem is, if GCD of A and B is D, then GCD of A by D and B by D is equal to 1. Okay. The proof is very simple. We have given GCD of A and B is equal to D. So by the theorem or remark, we know there is integer x and y such that D is equal to ax plus dy, where x and y are the integers and they are existing. So divide the equation throughout by D. So we get 1 is equal to a x upon D plus d y upon d. Okay. Now 1 is equal to, we can write ax upon d and dy upon d. Okay. Also, this is not the fraction. D is the common divisor of a and b. So d divides a, d divides b. So a by d is again integer, b by d also integer, because d divides a and d also divides b. Okay. So this implies we can write this like in on one standard manner. We can write this 1 is equal to a by d into x plus d by d into y, where x and y are integer. But you are just seeing the theorem. If there is this integer x and y such that 1 is equal to some integer into x plus some integer into y, the GCD of these two integers is equal to 1. So by last theorem, GCD of a by d and b by d is equal to 1. So we will give an example. So you write everything here. We know GCD of 16 and 24 is equal to 8. So this is A, this is B, this is D. GCD of AB is equal to D. Then divide the number by GCD. Divide A by D, B by D. Okay. GCD of 16 by 8 with 24 by 8. This must be equal to 1. Why? Because theorem, if GCD of A and B is equal to D, GCD of A by D and B by D also equal to 1. Now 16 by 8 means 2 and 24 by 8 means 3. And we know the common divisor for 2 and 3 is only 1, and this is the greatest common divisor. 2 and 3 does not have other common divisor than 1. GCD always equal to 1. GCD of A by D and B by D is equal to 1. Okay. Next, very important lemma, Euclid's lemma. Okay. If A divides B into C and GCD of A and B is 1, then A must divide C. Okay. So we will first see proof. We have GCD of A and B is equal to 1. So there is this integer x and y such that ax plus by is equal to 1. Multiply this equation both there by c. So this implies c into a into x. Multiply this by c. So multiply, we have to multiply each term by c. So c into x plus c into dy is equal to c into 1. So it's equal to c. Okay. So we can write this as c is equal to c into a is same as a into c. So a into c into x, c into b is same as b into c, b into c into y. Now we know any number always divides multiple of that number. So a always divides any multiple of a. So we have a always divides multiple of a. So a divides a into c. Also we have given that a divides b into c. So a divides acx plus a divides bcy. So a divides their sum. So a sum is c. This implies since a divides ac, a divides bc. So a divides a into c into x. A divides b into c into y. This implies a divides their sum also. So a divides acx plus bcy. But this sum is nothing but c. This implies a divides c. So a divides c. Euclid's lemma is also very powerful tool. Okay. Why? Suppose there is an example. So we will see example. Okay. 2 divides 3 into 6. 2 divides 18. 18 is equal to 3 into 6. But GCD of 2 and 3 is 1. So 2 must divide other remaining part. Remaining part is 6. So 2 divided must be 6. See. A divides B into C. A divides B into C. GCD of A and some element is 1. GCD of A and B is 1. GCD of 2 and 3 is 1. So 2 must be divided remaining term. So 2 divides 6. So 2 divides 3 into 6. But GCD of 2 and 3 is 1. So 2 must divide 6. So this is the Euclid's line. So thank you.